Everybody, this is lesson 7 in our geometry unit. Now this particular lesson is volumes of cylinders, cones, and spheres. We're going to do cylinders and cones today only and move on later in the week with the other shapes. So I have on page 47, I have 4 different cylinders. I'm going to do one and point out a couple of things in the other ones, and I'm going to have you do the rest. First thing is the formula for volume of cylinders is the volume is equal to pi times radius squared times the height. The first thing you have to do in this formula is to square the radius. Now I'm going to use pi as 3.14. You might use pi in the Desmo calculator as just hitting the pi sign, so your answer might be slightly different than what I have, but as long as the whole number is very close to my whole number, you should be fine. I'm going to do question number 1 only. Okay, so let's look at the shape. Going back to our circles in the beginning of this unit, radius and diameter. Radius is halfway across, diameter is all the way across. So in this particular picture, the radius is 5. I'm going to put an R next to the above that 5, so that tells me that's the radius. Now, what is this 9? That is the height because it's straight up and down. So I have a radius of 5 and a height of 9, which looks like to fill in the formula pretty good there. So I'm going to go and just fill it in all the way through. Volume equals 3.14, and I like to put things in parentheses. R squared, radius is 5, so I'm going to put 5 squared there, and I'm going to squeeze in the height right here, which is 9. Okay, now I have my formula set up. I'm going to fill it in all the way. 5 squared is 25. Also have the height there. Now I'm going to calculate that straight across since I have my radius done. So I'm going to take my calculator and do 3.14 times 25 times 9, and I have an answer which is the volume. Make sure I put my V there, and this is centimeters cubed. Okay, so there is my final answer. All right, now keep in mind the radius was given for 1, and now look down at 3 as an example. They are given 3 as the 18 feet all the way across, so that is the diameter. You do not have diameter in the formula, you have the radius, so keep that in mind when you're completing the rest. All right, I'm going to flip over to page 48, which is where the cones are. And I told you we'd do cylinders and cones today. So I'm going to do one of the cones. This one's a little bit of a different formula. It is basically pi radius squared times the height, which is what we did on the other end, but you got to divide by 3. Okay, so you've got basically the cone formula or the cylinder formula, and you're dividing it by 3. Okay, so let's take a look at 1. I'm going to do question 1 again. All right, let's look at it. This is the radius, 4 inches across. The height is straight up and down, that's 6 inches. So let's just start filling in the formula. Okay, so I'm going to put pi, actually I'm going to put 3.14. Radius squared, radius is 4, I'm going to square it. And then I'm going to put the height, which is 6, and I'm going to put that over 3. Okay, so I'm going to take my calculator and do the top part of our fraction, which is 3.14 times 16. I got 16 by 4 squared, so I'm just going to take that step out. Hang on, 3.14 times 16 times the height, which is 6. That gives me 301.44 over 3. So I got one more step. I'm going to divide by 3. Okay, here's my final answer. Volume equals Okay, so after I divided by 3, I ended up with 100.48. Okay, so that is the formula for cones. Now keep in mind, again, when you look down here at question 3, it's all the way across is 5 centimeters. Question 1 went halfway across, radius is given, this is the diameter, so you got to take care of that diameter so you can fit it in the formula. I'm going to have you do pages 47 and 48 in your notebooks, and we will take a look at them when you're finished.